Ah, hold on. I got you. Don't even lie and say I didn't, because I know I did. Good job, boys. Hold on, let me take it. Yeah. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Corey, aka the One Kai, aka Young Dagger. That's my slogan. Hey, and I'm back with another video, you dig? As you can see, I just woke up on some shit, and I got a video for y'all boys because I promised I was gonna do a video, so I got y'all a video. But I just want to say thank you for yesterday's video. I really appreciate that. I'm not gonna lie. I really appreciate that. It got, I think, 3,800 something in less than 24 hours, and I really appreciate that for y'all boys. I'm not gonna lie. Thanks for all this love and support. You know, so keep grinding. I'm gonna keep grinding until we get to that 1 million views. My goal is to have 500 subscribers. What the? My goal is to have 500 subscribers, you feel me? That I want to reach 500 subscribers at least. That's what I'm shooting for right now. That's my goal right now. But I really appreciate it. Without further ado, we're going to rock into Scary Videos Animated. It's a Scary Omegle Videos Animated. Hold on 1 second. Oh shit. I'm back. Like I said, we're gonna react to Scary Omegle Videos Animated, and I really do appreciate y'all for the support on Instagram. I really appreciate that love, I'm not gonna lie. But let's get it, y'all.
When I was 15 years old, my parents decided to go visit my uncle. I didn't want to go.
Hope I got y'all
wanted to stay
snacks,
home
by
and
the way.
hang out with my best friend Alex,
You got my
since we lived in a quiet neighborhood and there was little crime happening there. My parents allowed me to stay home and have Alex over. My mom left a note on the fridge with all emergency numbers, and my dad told me to call him if anything happens. I assured them that everything's going to be fine. Me and Alex were just going to play video games and have some pizza later.
Did y'all know?
I called Alex, and he came to my house 15 minutes later. We played UFC on my PS4 for 2 hours, and then had some pizza.
I just noticed that.
After our meal, we just sat in the living room talking about random stuff. Eventually, we started talking about girls. Alex mentioned a website where you could talk to random people called Omegle. He also said that he talked to some girls on there, so we decided to go on Omegle and try our luck. For the first 30 minutes, we didn't get matched with any girls, and we were starting to get bored. And just when I was moving my mouse to close out of the webpage, 2 girls showed up on our screen. They were about our age, maybe a little older. We started talking to them, but they were just typing. We could see that they were trying to talk, but we couldn't hear them. We told them to turn on their microphone, but the girl said that they don't have a microphone. We continued talking to them. We said that we were home alone, and so were they. They said that they lived in the same city as us, and the same area as Alex and I, but we've never seen these girls before. I thought this was odd because our city's pretty small. After 15 more minutes, they said that we were cute and that we should hang out sometime. We were stunned. Girls usually don't want to hang out with us, so Alex gave them a Snapchat username. As soon as he typed his username, the girls disconnected. We were really bummed out. We didn't even get their names. So we just turned off my laptop and went back to PS4 to play some video games. Some time passed. We were still playing video games when Alex took out his phone. He had just received a snap from someone called AnnaXOXO99. He opened it, and it was a picture of the 2 girls we met on Omegle earlier. They were walking on a street, and the caption said, "Can we come over and hang out?"
Oh, yeah. She think I'm cute. She wanna have sex.
Alex immediately looked at me. He didn't ask me anything. I already knew what he wanted, and I said no. He wasn't happy about this, but he understood at the same time. Alex texted them saying that he can't come over, and that they should hang out some other time. A couple of minutes later, the girls responded, "Can we meet at the park then?" So Alex asked me if I wanted to go to the park with them. It was only 10 minutes of walking from my house, but I still said no.
Nah, bro.
At this point, Alex was a little frustrated, and he said he was going with or without me. Maybe he was right. Maybe I should go. Am I really going to pass up on an opportunity like this? I looked at my watch, and it was 10:30 p.m. So it wasn't that late, and my dad's friend lived right next to the park, so I said I'd go with him. But if anything seemed strange, we would immediately go back to my place. Alex agreed. He sent the girls a snap saying that we were on our way to the park. They replied that they were waiting for us at the children's playground. We got out of my house and started walking to the park. The whole walk there, I was thinking, what if something goes wrong? We don't even know those girls, and what if someone else was at the park with them? I didn't want to say anything, because Alex probably would just say I'm paranoid, so I kept my thoughts to myself. After 10 minutes of walking, we got to the park. The children's playground was a little deep into the park, so I asked Alex to ask them to come to the main entrance of the park because we were already there. Alex just said, "Dude, come on," and texted them that we were at the park. After a minute or so that we arrived at the playground, there was no one there. I asked Alex if they responded to our last snap, and he said no, they just opened it. We waited there for a couple of minutes, but there was no sign of the girls. We were all alone in that park. I told Alex that they were probably just messing with us, and that we should just go home, but Alex wanted to stay a couple of minutes more. A minute passed, and that's when we heard someone walking behind us. We turned around, and there was a guy dressed in black, standing behind a tree looking at us. He had a creepy smile on his face. I said to Alex that we should go home, and that this wasn't a good idea. Alex agreed, and we started walking back home. The whole time, I was looking over my shoulder, trying to see if the man was following us. And he was. I told Alex, and we instantly started running. Just when we got to the park's entrance, the guy grabbed my hand and started screaming in some insane way. I was screaming and kicking, trying to get him to let go of my hand. I was calling Alex to help me, but he ran away. The guy started pulling me back into the park. I was screaming as loud as I could, and that's when I saw blue and red lights. The guy must have seen them too, because he immediately let go of my hand and ran deeper into the park. I started running back to the direction of my house when a police officer stopped me. I explained everything to him, and he called my parents. The police officer took me to the police station to wait for my parents to pick me up. My parents came after about an hour, and the police officer told them what happened, and so did I. My dad asked if they caught the guy, and they said they were still looking for him.
That nigga seemed very
When we got home, my parents were glad nothing serious happened, but they still were mad at me because I left the house to meet some girls I was talking to online. They told me to go to sleep and that everything will be alright. The next day, Alex came to my house. He was with his dad, and he apologized for running away last night. He also said that when he got home, he opened his Snapchat, and there was no sign of Anna XOXO99. It was like she never existed.
You got catfish, my boy?
For some context, I'm a teenage male, and this happened when I was around 17 years old.
Next story.
Back then, I used to see all these videos on YouTube about Omegle horror stories and pranks. Now, I'm not particularly brave or anything, but if I'm bored, I often find myself going to drastic measures to find something to do. After thinking for a while, I built up the courage to go on Omegle. I wanted to be funny, so I didn't respond to anything or anyone. I then came across this guy that kept saying for me to talk, or else. And being a teenager, I wanted to make him mad, so I asked what he'd do in the chat. All he said was, "You should talk more," and then left. I feel pretty proud of myself for being a jerk, but slightly disturbed, so I turned Omegle off to work on some homework due the next day. After a few minutes of doing homework, I heard my dogs barking, and they wouldn't stop even when I told them to. I figured maybe somebody made a loud noise, or even had a dog whistle. After calming down my dogs and getting back to my homework, I heard the noise this time. Somebody had knocked at my back door. My back door is gated with a 4-foot fence and a lock. The only way somebody could get in is if they had a key or jumped it. After looking outside for about 10 minutes, I called my dad and told him everything. He told me that when he gets home, he'll look around. I accepted that because he's a doctor and he's got a lot of work to do.
I mean, what?
Half an hour passes, my dogs are outside, and that's when I hear a thump outside my door.
Omar,
What?
let me tell you something.
I'm gonna say one. You want me to say
Go home and get the gun.
I looked around, and there was a rock with a note stuck to it, After that, I heard my dogs barking at our driveway. The note read, "I know where you live. I've never been this scared in my life. I just feel lucky to have 3 dogs in my house at all times." Now, I'm not the kind to show emotion or get scared easily, but that freaked me out. I'm shaking and on the nerve of calling the police. Was this just one big coincidence?
Who
Or
is
did the
this?
same
Jason
guy
X?
from Omegle really somehow
bruh.
figure out where I live?
L story. Bad, man.
When my friends and I were 15 years old, we went on Omegle a lot. I'm sure most of you already know what Omegle is, but if not, it's a chat website that pairs you with a random person for a one-on-one conversation. You can disconnect and start a new chat with someone else at any time. At the time, the website was still in its prime and hosted around 150,000 people online at all times. We liked to mess with people and would completely make up who we were. We were young and had a bad sense of humor. Well, one day, we decided to go on Omegle and say some very off-the-wall stuff. On that day, we decided to tell strangers that we had kids locked in our basement. For whatever reason, it was comedy gold in our 15-year-old minds, and we thought the reactions would be hilarious. We maybe told 1 or 2 strangers this, and they just disconnected. But then, we connected to a stranger who was either genuinely worried or wanted to play along with the creepy message. We told the stranger our joke for the day. The stranger asked why we would be so despicable and that he would call the cops. We laughed it off and disconnected. We connected to the next stranger, and the first message that popped up was almost unbelievable. "How are those kids in your basement?" We were shocked and disconnected immediately. We tried to laugh it off for a few seconds and connect to another stranger. While we were connected to another stranger, another message popped up in the chat. "I'm still waiting to hear about those kids."
Yo.
We decided to disconnect and reconnect one more time.
Playing about them children
The
in
last
the
message this
basement,
person sent was, "I'm still here, and I'm still waiting for your answer." Finally, we came to our senses and got off the computer for a while. I remember being so worried that whoever that was called the cops on us.
VPN, bro.
Luckily, nothing ever came of it.
So they can't figure out.
After that, we stopped going on Omegle as much. I still wonder if a moderator was on the site and had a way to keep connecting to us, or if it was someone who was good at hacking. I'm sure what we told that person freaked them out as much as they freaked us out. Overall, we learned a good lesson, and realized that we weren't as funny as we thought.
Some of you may have heard of this website called Omegle.com. If you haven't, it's a chat website people go to when they're bored, and it's anonymous. It's up to you to give out any of your information, but you can easily get out of a conversation and move on to talk to a new person with a click. Around 2012, I went on this website a lot as I got lonely, and I've had some nice conversations on there before. I was 16 at the time. This is where I met Emily. She was this funny girl who was so easy to talk to, and right away I felt like we had been friends forever, so I gave her my Skype and all my details so that we could talk again. Pretty soon, we were talking all day, every day for a few months over Omegle. She said she was from Wales, which I thought was so cool. I've never met anyone from Wales.
She's from Wales.
I thought she was the best friend I ever had. We talked about everything going on in our lives. She would tell me crazy stories about the things she'd done with her friends, and we'd talk about relatable girl stuff, and I would wake up to Photoshop pictures of us and cats and some bad pun written on it about us being best friends forever, or something stupid like that. We texted all the time, but I wanted to actually call her or video, but she told me she had gotten into an argument with her stepdad recently, and he threw her laptop at the wall and it broke the camera. Right. Well, I thought maybe she can text on Skype and I'll be on video and voice just so she can see me. Why not, right?
That's skeptical, my boy.
When we did, she wouldn't stop going on about how jealous she was of me and told me to stop being so beautiful, and it flattered me. I thought she was gorgeous in her pictures, and it was silly of her to be jealous of me at all. Emily was kind of a clingy kind of girl, as she wanted my attention all the time and would get upset if I fell asleep or didn't respond fast enough.
She's jelly, bro.
She also started making strange comments about her body, like saying how she thinks she has an ugly vagina and is worried about it, and called it a coin slot. And she'd asked if I'd look at it and tell her if it's weird, for which I would just tell her I'm sure it's fine, don't worry about it. She said, I bet yours has sparkles and magic.
Alright, bro.
I could feel she was trying to get a picture of me. I didn't do it. I changed the subject. Emily would talk about the guy that works at her market and how she had a big crush on him, but was too awkward to say anything. I encouraged her through that time to talk to him, and eventually she got the nerve and asked him out. The night she told me this, I remember her asking this question out of the blue. If I was a guy, what name do you think I'd have? Suddenly, I had this sinking feeling inside reading this, as I realized I never heard her voice or saw her in a video. She could actually be a guy this whole time.
Elvis.
Could she though? Nah,
Eli.
she's just trying to scare me. She tries to get reactions all the time, and her photos add up to everything she talks about. I've got nothing to worry about, right? I decided to join in. John? Oh, I was hoping you would say Jacob. But once again, I thought she was just being her weird self, and we moved on to talking about other things. I did tell her she almost scared me though, and she laughed and apologized. One night comes along, and we're talking as normal. She asked me what state I lived in. I told her because I thought maybe she wanted to see what it looked like compared to where she lives on Google or something.
Nah, bro.
Then she goes, "You're only 500 miles from me." I say, "No, you're not." She says, "Yes, I go to..." I look up this school, and sure enough, it's in Alabama.
Sweet.
You can easily just look for a school on Google Maps, so I thought she was just making stuff up to get more reactions. She says that she fixed her camera, and we can do video chat tonight if I wanted to. I said yes. I was excited. We had talked for 2 months, and I finally get to see her instead of pictures and texts.
That is a Negro.
I get all set up in the living room and call her. She answered, "You know when you feel frozen with fear and time feels slow? That first second, when I saw him, I thought maybe that's her brother or friend and she's going to move the camera to her. Nope, it's just him. While I'm frozen and speechless, he picks up one of his laptops and signs in as Emily to show me that he's been doing this the whole time.
He look cool though, you feel me?
He doesn't say anything.
Everybody get catfished.
He then pulls out a camera and points it towards me. I finally told myself to end the call before he takes a picture. Why did he take his camera out? I don't know, but I try to process everything while my heart is pounding, and even though he may not be near me physically, it was still very creepy and disturbing to me.
Understandable.
I pulled myself together and decided to try and get some answers. I wrote him a simple why, and he says, "I was dared to by my friends to pretend I was a girl on Omegle, but I thought you were really cool, so I kept it up. I stopped talking to the other guys though. I just wanted to keep talking to you."
You see, cool.
Guess what his name was? Jacob. He was 21 and he's from Alabama.
I was wrong.
I couldn't understand how he kept up with his fake life of Emily every day and even had pictures to make it all seem so legitimate.
No,
It was almost like Emily was real and died that night. This girl in these pictures, who were they? The strange thing is, sometimes I feel like she's still out there, but I know she doesn't exist.
Alright, we straight. Bro. We straight. Oh, never mind. Alright, that's gonna do it for this video, you feel me? We had some good ones, we had some bad ones. I probably picked the wrong one because some of these, some videos are scary than other videos. But these was cool. These let you know, you feel me? You can't be talking niggas off social media, you feel me? But the last one was cool, you feel me? At least he ain't try to come look for her and no shit like that. I mean, it's still weird. You got catfished, but we all get catfished. Put your hand up if you got catfished before. Like, I've been catfished before too. Like, shit happens, bro. But hope y'all like this video. If I didn't like this video, I don't know what to tell you. You can click off and go find another video that you might fuck with. And hope this made your day if it did. I mean, appreciate it, my boy. And to your cousins, sisters, uncles, nephews, little cousins, little brothers, little nephews, everybody about me, for me. God bless you. And have a nice night. It's your boy Corey, man. I'm out. Peace.
I want to be the greatest in the world. Not for the money and the fame and the girls. Not for the car keys or the jet skis, but the vacation to the West Indies.